All right, we are recording. All right, guys, we're recording.
So,
Hi, I'm driving.
Driving at the same time?
No,
I'm typing.
make sure of that.
I can do it all.
Is Carlo on?
Carlo is there. Carlo, can you hear us? Carlo, can you hear us? Was there? Steven, come over here.
Hello.
Carlo, you're muted. Can you unmute yourself? I don't know if I can do it.
Come on, Carlo, hurry up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good enough.
Carlo, how are you, Carlo?
Oh, hey, Don.
Okay, we're starting the
Oh.
meeting and we're having opening audience of citizens. Go ahead with your request. I think he's stuck.
I think he's frozen.
Carlo's frozen. I think
Oh.
we know what his consent agenda.
Am I supposed to talk now?
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
I can. I don't know about in the meeting room.
Okay. We're losing Carlo, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, there you are, Carlo. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're planning a family reunion, and I was instructed to put together a form and attend this meeting in order to get permission to to have alcohol at Timberland Park.
Okay.
And so I was just, I'm not really sure what the process is, but I had submitted a form and just wanted to see if I could get permission to do that. So we've got probably 30 to 40 people attending. Mostly, I would say, the people attending would be in the 30 to 50-year-old range with, some people that are under age 21. Not too many, but probably a handful.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions of Carlo?
Nope.
All set.
So Carlo, what we'll do is we'll vote tonight and then myself or Terry will get in touch with you tomorrow. And
Okay,
then we'll have to put you on the next council meeting. You won't need to attend that. And then after the council meeting, we'll let you know you're approved and then you can obtain the tulip insurance.
all right, fantastic. Thank you so much.
No
Okay,
problem.
thank you.
Hey, take care.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes that were included in the packet?
I'll make a motion for the minutes. I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
You seconded?
Okay, minutes are approved?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda. I really don't see a need to separate A and B, so can I have a motion to accept consent agenda items A and B?
I moved to accept the consent agenda items A and B as written.
Okay, seconded?
Second.
Okay, Tony second. Any further discussion on items A or B? Questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor for consent agenda item A and B? Okay, unanimous? Great. Okay, we're moving right along. First and towns.
Let's see, if you guys get a chance to take a swing up through the front of town hall, it was well overdue for a facelift plants. So over the last probably 3 or 4 months, we ripped everything out of there. Now both sides actually match. It's got a little pop, a little color to it. And by the end of next week, once all the annuals are planted, it's really gonna look nice. If you haven't had a chance, it looks beautiful. The whole entire crew did a great job. We're trying our best to get some grass to grow, at McGee and Willard. Willard's got some big undulations and holes growing in it, and we don't know if it's from the amount of rain that we've had, but if you look out at the field, the whole entire right side of the field has probably several large style holes. Water sitting in there. I think there's ducks in there, some mallards just swimming around having a grand old time. The new scoreboards have been installed at all the little leagues, so they're up and running. They look great. They work great. No complaints about those. And then probably the most exciting news that I have is finally after 3 years, we have 2 irrigation controllers connected to Wi-Fi. So wherever I am in the world, I can control the water at both of these locations, and we're hoping to build off of this. Thanks to the Board of Education letting us use their Wi-Fi, it's going to make a world of difference. So instead of having to go to 13 places, now I only have to go to 11 places to turn the water on and off. So making progress. It's all controlled by weather, so if we get more than a quarter of an inch of rain, the system won't run that night. If it drops below 32 degrees, it won't run. So there's just so many different variables to the system. It's fantastic. Okay, I'm done.
Stage 1 is so very close to completion. We did have a couple, I don't know what we call them, where the asphalt just kind of dipped in kind of a little bit. So we had 4 repair areas that they're working on. They've already cut it and pulled it out and jackhammered it and then filled it. So they'll be back next week to make sure that it's enough fill and everything. So there's 2 areas behind the backstop and 2 areas in the corner of left field. So those were fixed by the contractor. They came, they did fertilizer and everything this past weekend. The high school and Little League softball stayed off the field for us so they could come and finish that. And we got the as-built survey electronically today. We're getting a huge printout tomorrow. So we are very, very close to finally closing that project. Right. And State of Connecticut grant, I talked to Kevin last week. I believe he finally has a contact person to do the paperwork with. So slowly but surely they're making progress on that.
Contact at the state.
Yeah, I'm not sure which department it ended up falling, because the problem was they were always saying it wasn't our department, it wasn't our department, and they kept giving us the runaround, but I believe Kevin finally has a contact, and we'll be getting the paper so we can, so that the Board of, Department of Finance can fill them out.
Right.
That's it.
All right, any other questions, Parks and Recreation? Good. Okay, yep, Parks and Recreation, you got my monthly report, nothing really to update on it. I guess I just want to make a point with the ever-changing guidelines coming out from the state that I follow them as best as I can, and even though things are opening and great, it's not really impacting the changes for camps and pools, because you still have young kids who are not vaccinated. So they still have their own guidelines that we will be following. So as much as everything opens up, they're still requesting us to have masks on the kids inside. They can be 3 feet instead of 6, because that's what they're doing in schools. Outside, we'll try to be as much as possible so they don't have to wear masks, but there are definitely different guidelines for pools and camps than for just the general public. So believe me, if we can loosen up things, we will, but we will, we'll follow what they say and do the best we can. So, like, after review of these new guidelines that just came out and everything, I think it would be helpful to the public to, like, summarize, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna follow. If there's changes, we'll let you know, but, like, post that somewhere, because, like, I emailed you because there were some comments on Berlin Talks about the pools, and even I was confused with some of the questions and all that kind of stuff. So is there a better way that we can communicate with the
No,
public?
because everything changes, so, I mean, if people don't see something, then, I think that is not necessarily the best thing to do. On our summer registration form for our summer program, we said we will be following the most up-to-date guidelines that are out by the OEC, CDC, and Department of Public Health. So I think, to try to keep up with constantly putting things out there, I cannot do it as one person running this. There's just way too much.
Anyone who's registered for the camp is going to know when they come in that the guidelines we're following based on whatever is current with OEC. If we tell them something now and it changes in a month, then it's just,
So we're telling them that we're following the current guidelines. Some of the information that I have, you can't even find on the OEC site. They're sending out to people that run these programs, but the public can't find them. So again, we're telling people we're gonna follow the most updated things. As we get closer, they instruct us that we should need a mask rule needs to be sent to parents, and we'll do that. But I just think to constantly have to try to update these things everything changes way too much. I mean, I'm one person, it's just, I cannot keep up with it. I can't keep up with it.
Right, so, Deb, so,
Yeah.
and maybe for the other commissioners, if you're seeing things online, like, I've seen things and no one's answering them. So what you get is you get all these people coming in and either, oh, I think it's this, or I think it's that, or I don't know who to contact, blah, blah, blah. How do you want us to respond? We're seeing these things and somehow we have, do we
Yes,
say-
contact our office.
No, you contact the office and Terry will answer, and if she doesn't know, she'll ask me, but I do not want to be inundated.
So we say call Parks and Rec,
Correct, yep.
get the number.
I even get Facebook messages asking the same question.
Yeah.
They don't know that I'm in the Parks and Rec department. I'm just the town employee that runs the Facebook page. So my response, just like any other department, is please contact the Parks and Recreation Department.
It's the best
And his
thing to do,
phone
but
number.
just as consistency, I mean, I'm
That
not
way
gonna,
we know we're giving them the right information. Sorry.
yeah, no,
So I've done that.
it's just easier, it's easier to do it that way, you know, I mean, it's tough times still, you know, and with everything changing.
And it is changing.
it's-
And you'd also be surprised.
There's a
I'm
lot.
sure a lot of the people that are commenting may not even be registered for the program. They're just commenting because it's social media and that's what you do. When you
Right.
actually put a number there to call, how many calls out of those 50, how many people out of those 50 people leaving comments are actually gonna call to actually want the information?
It's very true. All that stuff that got posted on there, some of it is just complete garbage.
Well, and I think if you respond, and the town has not told us that they want us to do that, and there would have to be an account to respond. I'm not responding with my personal Facebook, that's personal, so. So if the town wanted to do that, that's fine, but then you get it back and forth, and I just don't think it's appropriate. I think if someone really wants to know, they should call the office.
Yeah, and that's how the Facebook page was set up with the original of,
Yeah.
if you see someone, because we talked with the attorney a lot, like, do we want to censor comments? He's like, you can't really do that. If someone writes a comment, the rule was just, okay, contact that department, and give the phone number, very generic.
I think it's just the best, yeah, it's-
Thank you.
everything's just changing so much that I wish that things would change more for this summer, some of the programs, but I just don't. Again, because the age group we deal with is not being vaccinated. You know, we deal with 5 years old and up, and they're vulnerable, and that's, you know, we've got a lot of cases in the middle school now going on. So, you know, maybe some of those kids will start getting vaccinated, but it's still out there, even though the numbers are going down. People are still getting sick, and I think we still have to take, you know, the best precautions that we can to make sure that people are as safe as possible.
And the health director, the regional, he's the one that's really calling the shots anyway, right? Other than for
No.
specific.
We don't get anything from him, no. Well, if we don't ask him a question, he does not give us any. So it's the state of Connecticut Department of Public Health, which sends out their recommendations.
Yeah.
And even the OEC, just the other day said, even though the governor, on May 19th is loosening up things, they are still, they can't tell you to do stuff, but they are still strongly recommending social distancing. Obviously, the mask wearing is still in place, intensify cleaning, which is what we're gonna have to do. So they don't want people to relax on it. They want, at least for this summer, they want people to take all precautions necessary.
It will be interesting, because tonight with them all coming out now saying masks are not required for those vaccinated, I don't know how the town's gonna handle it, but we'll see, you know, so.
Or that, maybe that might have to come from the health director. I don't know.
Yes, yeah, okay.
Unless anyone has anything.
Nothing else?
You have 27 people, that's good, right? Or is it good?
What's that?
You have 27 kids for the summer?
27
Just new staff.
New staff.
new staff. I have 46 staff,
Okay.
27 new.
Is
Yeah.
that a good number?
It's a lot for one person supervised.
Well, no, I understand, but I'm just saying for you to support the kids.
Yeah, I mean, well, because we're doing reduced numbers, so. it's a lot of new, I mean, again, 10 new lifeguards, 10 60-year-olds who have never guarded before, and the majority of my summer fun staff are brand new. So they've got to get used to how you run the program, how you do everything, plus with everything else you have to put in place. It's going to be a challenging summer with that many. It's a lot of new staff. It's a lot. They're all young, so it'll be tough.
Okay, community senior center update. Deb, you wanna
take lead?
Okay. I'm gonna just, so I'll tell, so where we're at, I think I know, I emailed all of you, a copy of an email based on discussions I had with the town manager and with Micah Hurd, the engineering public works director. Both were really good. Micah Hurd, I think, is gonna be, key guy in this whole thing, obviously, along with Debbie and Jen and Tina Doyle from the senior center. That, people were on vacation, so wait for everybody to get back from vacation. I had a call with the town manager last week or a week and a half ago. I said, okay, everybody's back now. What are we doing? What are we gonna do? And so he said that he had a conversation with the mayor. He said town council, it was with the mayor. He was surprised even from the town council / mayor's point of view that here we are and Tom Arcari had already made a presentation on the design to the town council and the mayor threw out, I'm not sure I even like the location. And I had a conversation with the mayor who was running by my house, same comment. That's why when he said town council, I said that was with the mayor. He said, yeah. And from what I understand, he said, you have a summary, an update written. It's just my thoughts, my document. It's a draft. So the mayor told me he was concerned, maybe that's a flooding area, which there is some flooding issues, but it's mitigated. The building can be handled, everything's from the building design is covered that. Maybe there's some cost involved. And then what he told Arush, the town manager, is, well, maybe we should have it down by the tracks. So that's huge. And Arush pushed back from what Arush told me with the mayor and indicated, you guys, whenever that presentation was made, it was made before the fall time when Tom came here. Oh, right. I did.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
just
extras, I just,
Okay.
yeah, okay. I'll need those extras back. But anyway, sure. The town council was doing a presentation. I actually watched it on video. You can see it at on the town website. And, everybody was saying, oh, that's beautiful. That's nice. Oh, maybe you could do this or whatever. There was no real discussion of, but that happened just say 6-9 months ago. And then nothing has happened. So I know that there's going to be some issues with the council to, try and encourage them to move forward. But Arush did talk to the mayor and said, we should definitely have a public forum face-to-face, show people the design, because it's been on Facebook, it's been on the town website, but and rightly so, give people an opportunity to go face-to-face. And now I think it's going to happen after tonight with Vermont coming out. I think it will happen in June. It will talk about the design, maybe any further updates that might happen before that. But really, again, town input. Is there any other things? The Commission on Aging, Jen's involved with them as well. I've had discussions with Barbara Gombatz. I gave her a copy of the discussions that I had with Micah Hurd and Rouge. And they're having their first meeting in many months this Monday coming up. So they haven't met, they really haven't talked about the design concept as a commission at all. And obviously they have a big role to play. So Barbara, who's the head, she was telling me, she had some comments, some involved some parking spaces closer to the building. I don't know what other comments they have, but I guess Tom Arcari is going to come to their meeting Monday. If she asked me to go, I'm going to go, but I'm going to be virtual because I got to be in Utah. And I'll talk to them about, you know, what we've done. We've changed our statement of need already. It's already been incorporated in the design. But I told Arush, I said, you know, it kind of looks stupid. We go to the public, we have one commission that maybe hasn't had an opportunity even to have input to changes. I really wouldn't want that commission saying, I'd like to see these changes and we haven't talked about, you know, doesn't look good to the public. So you might want to get those incorporated if they're the right things to do. We all know that takes time. But I don't, without knowing their comments, I wouldn't know what has to go, but they would give their comments back to the building commission. Building commission would tell Tom or Carrie, go ahead, do it or don't do it, whatever. So that's really it. I put together front and back summary here because Mike Ahern asked me to tonight go to the Public Building Commission and talk to them because they're the ones that really have control over this design. Talk to them about forming a subcommittee. Chances are the council will actually have to agree with the subcommittee and agree with the participants on the subcommittee. Again, this is just my thoughts because we got to get something going here. Is that the subcommittee in bold? The role of the subcommittee, this is talking with Arush and talking with Mike Ahern, would be to gather the information, go out and visit other community and senior centers around the state, find out how they did it, lessons learned, funding, how they operate, what do they need for staff, and it would be a combination of staff, commission members, and maybe there'll be some people from the public as well, just outside. Again, without the council knowing what they really want, I just put it down. So you'll see in there, I listed those that would be on this subcommittee. The subcommittee, just call it the executive committee, whatever you want to call it, but there'd be other commission members supporting it as well. So I would hope a lot of you could also help out, be involved. I think it could be a fun project, but this is going to take some time to get all this information and then be able to agree with the information, including operations. How do you operate? How much staff do you need? What are the costs? What's the debt levels? All that. Put in a nice presentation for the town to present to the town at some point before a referendum is called. Now, Arush was talking about, Tom Arcuri actually was talking about doing a referendum in November. And we're ready for that, my opinion. So I talked to Arush and Mike Ahern, I said, maybe next April. So you have almost a year to go out and make the study. Maybe you would do it over the summer, have all your facts, have it ready to go, and then there'll be some minor changes or whatever, but there's a lot of commissions. There's 3 commissions right now that have some involvement in this: Parks and Rec, Building Commission, and Commission on Aging. And there's staff involved. And we haven't been working together. We've been working, in our fields because that's all that's been required so far. But I'm trying to kind of push it along. So that's where we are. I don't necessarily want to go through this whole thing. I don't have to leave till 7:15, but if you want to, this is just a summary of where we are, and then subcommittee tasks. I just started making a bullet. What would this subcommittee individual task really be? It'd be a whole project plan and all that. I did comment that if, unless there's someone better or whatever, I'd be glad to lead the subcommittee. But I leave that up to whoever. I'll be involved either way. So, but we gotta get going.
I think you'd be an excellent person. I think you're motivated and it's something you're passionate about and it's something you can give attention to where somebody else may not be able to give attention to. And that's what Tom said we were missing, was a subcommittee and a champion, so.
The other thing that was interesting, I sent it to all of you, is Newington, they put in a new community center. They have a separate senior center. I grew up in Newington. Bill DeMayo runs the Park and Rec, he was at New Britain. Maybe a lot of you know Bill. Anyway, it was good because it was really that video was done on Facebook, if any of you had the opportunity, it was done by the real estate professionals. And then they had Bill, there, talking about all the things that they will be offering. And you just can see it, the excitement, and he expanded, not just in the community center, but, things they're doing in the parks now. They're gonna sell a St. Patrick's Day because they didn't do one before. And they got a business to support it, to fund it. So the town is invited to a community St. Patrick's Day celebration and, food trucks, blah, blah, blah. So, there is a lot. I realize staff is an issue and they have a few more people, obviously. But I really believe we can do a lot. And the more we can sell this and be positive about it and, again, realizing what we would need to work with it, it could be pretty exciting in this town. Community and senior center, there's nothing better. And if you talk to Bill DeMayo, they're ecstatic over what they do. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting spin because economics has a lot to do with this. And this group also, as you will see, will be going out, talking to the Chamber of Commerce, to businesses, economic development, all the commissions, get the word out. Funding, new town, God bless them, they put in a new community and senior center. Now, it's interesting, and I want to go down and see it. I believe the cost was about 15 million. We're talking about 30 million. They put in a pool. They put in a third pool. Of the 15 million, 10 million was given to them by GE. So the towns, I believe the town, paid the extra 5, right? But they have a lot, they lost, Sandy Hook and all that. I mean, GE was really, really right behind them. But that took a lot of legwork. I think we can, learn from that. But there may be some corporations. Maybe there is something we could do. We have big town, Eversource is here. We have big companies, Comcast, and maybe have to do something for them in order to, get some funding. But anyway, community organizations is another area. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
In order to get that, you're gonna have to talk to the tax assessor office at the end of the day, because they're not gonna accept it against the right. You don't want tax rates. But I mean, it's considerably compared to the amount of tax revenue we get from increased economic value on from internet. I mean, at the end of the day, we'll not.
30 million is a big nut to cover this town, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anyone in town that handles the debt, like launches that we have, or does research for grants, or is there like a
Yes,
paid
so-
staff person that does that?
Jim Mahoney was a full-time, he was the economic director many years ago. He left, Chris had just come in, Chris did a bang-up job. Jim Mahoney is still on the payroll as a consultant or part-timer, I'm not sure what. He lives up in Vermont. So, yes, I'm sure his time is limited, but yeah, we have to reach out and get him. I tried, I continue to tell Arush, I said, you need a full-time money person just going out, because there are corporations and there are funding. I don't know, like National Parks and Rec, if there's some funding through that organization. I have no idea, but I think our state, we're gonna have trouble getting money from the state for Berlin because Joe was so successful. Now, Joe's another contractor in Donna Beach and, the rest of our reps in Senate.
Right.
We gotta try, but I think we gotta.
There might be something.
Yeah, Gavin Selena, he's a lobbyist, and he was our former mayor, he's another good content. So, and the federal programs, with the infrastructure, maybe there's something there, I don't know. John Larson, though, Gavin Selena is best buddies with John Larson, so. Anyway, anybody know anybody or whatever, jot it down.
So
We'll take
Jim
money from it.
Mahoney actually, he gets paid by town to do that for us, for money.
So again, Mahoney, but I think he's kind of working like on projects,
Yeah.
like, he got a grant for that Main Street development, you know, with, and then no one liked it. So he looked and he got another grant, you know, to destroy it and fix it, right? Okay, so,
That worked out.
Yeah, but Tony, we don't have, there's no full-time person on staff that just does grants. Like, if you look at a nonprofit organization, you have a grant writer built into the staff. The town doesn't have that.
It's, you know, like he brought up, Carrie brought up about, our bonds that Berlin has. And, you know, we got bonds that retire, and I don't know. But some come off the books, you know, do we know what the schedule is?
Yeah, and
The
those are
finance
all,
director will know that.
yeah, those are all
Yeah, so
closely
that's
monitored by the
what
finance director
So
and the board
somebody
of
helps
finance.
you and does that.
Yeah, the finance
yeah,
director
yeah.
and board of finance look at all of that.
he's very good, Kevin's very good. So
And if
that's
you-
on here, the subcommittee will reach out to him, and he has to talk and give a presentation about that level, so
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna tell
part, that's actually probably still available on our website under budget.
Yeah.
Because we just had the referendum, so his presentation, his PowerPoint is probably still on there, and you'll see information about the debt levels. It's a whole couple pages of his PowerPoint.
He's great to work with, we have a good rating now, and that's what I think they're gonna start pushing, you know, the town council, it's a debt, it's like, you know, I don't know where we are paying off the high school, but that was 65 million, you know, so, blah, blah, it's like crazy. So 30 million is a lot of money to schedule out. What are the tax impacts? And I'm really interested with these towns. Do you look for money first? You know, for places, do you get commitments? And then if you move forward, you pull in those commitments? Or do you tell the public, we're going to look for money? I really don't know.
So like this restructure America, that's coming out, right? Trillions of dollars of money being poured into, I don't know, others,
Right.
things like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even know where to start. But somebody must know.
Considering that this would actually have an economic impact. And believe it or not, yes, creating municipal buildings on or off or near main thoroughfares of economic activity do cause have economic impacts and make it more attractive for businesses to come into the town because of increased foot, both bike and foot traffic, pedestrian, as well as car traffic. I mean, if you take a look at it like that, we might be able to take a look at something like that for, say, federal, talking if we want to talk federal dollars, but even state dollars, we can even say, hey, listen, central, we can even say, hey, listen, we're in the literal center of Connecticut. You know, we're looking at all these towns around us doing better, doing a lot better. But, this is a way to jumpstart our community, and we can really stick it to, we could probably really stick it to the new Speaker of the House and say, listen, you talk about every 5 seconds, you're trying to jumpstart economics and stuff like that, blah, 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 like shove that from last 2 months. We can always just say to hey, listen, Connecticut, we've been, we're stalling out, this could kick us in the ass, it could get us forward, and it would. And if we can argue that successfully, hell, I think sky's the limit, quite frankly.
Well, it kind of telling though, when it takes this long for Kevin, our finance director, who's very, network savvy and very good, to find the right person to talk to get this grant going and, find out what we need, and that's only $2 million. So I don't know how easy it will be, but certainly everybody's got to push for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I think the hardest thing is gonna be selling the operating costs, and Kevin and I had a discussion about that. And you're talking hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that are gonna have to be put in a budget. Just, we open a facility like this for staffing, for, everything. You're not gonna open a brand new building without the furniture. All those costs are gonna add up. The furniture is a one-time, but the staffing is gonna be big. We talked about that. You're gonna need a lot more staff. You're gonna need maintenance staff. You're gonna need staff to run a pool and more staff in the office, the senior center is gonna need more staff, and it's gonna add up, and that's gonna be the hard sell.
Right.
So that, because they're gonna see that in the budget.
You have electrical, heating and air conditioning, I mean,
Absolutely.
30 mil is just to build it, I mean, that's, okay, it's gonna
So what
cost you
do
this
we-
much in taxes this year, but
Yeah.
once we start running it every day.
So how do other towns do it though, right? I don't know, but they do it. And they, you know, and to be fair, what are we gonna do with this area?
Library, that's already been.
No. What is they have to answer what they're gonna do, because that's all part of this.
Right.
And what senior center, you know, and housing, but okay, that's all part of this. It's, but other towns have done this and they're doing it. And, you know, our staff has remained constant. We have meeting rooms. And again, do a damn good job. We have great programs with what we have. You guys do a great job. But other towns are doing this and young people need a place to go. Teens need a teen center, that type of thing. You know, and this is just great. It's intergenerational. It's, you know, so yes. And that's why I say it has to be factual. I really want to make sure people have enough information when they go to the referendum, they can make that decision. But I'm not going to be afraid of those, and I don't know if it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands, but definitely
Easily.
over $100,000, I'll give you that, until I know what the other
I mean,
towns.
$100,000 is one full-time person, basically.
Yeah.
With
Fringe
salary,
benefits,
benefits and everything, that's basically,
But again,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
was that part of our hearings? You know,
it's a lot of money.
is that in the packet somewhere? So, you know,
He hasn't done any estimates for
Ongoing.
operating, I don't know how that's
So,
decided
I
or
talked to
what.
Arush, and that's, you guys, you know, the staff is gonna be involved in that, you gotta be involved. And we're gonna, and that's why going out visiting towns with someone from the commission or the building commission, you know, we all have to work and stretch ourselves. But you gotta go out and we'll develop a template so that every team comes back with at least answers to the questions that everybody wants answered. And you'll learn from it. I don't know how they do it either. And I don't know, what is Berlin doing in their costs for the town if other towns can afford it? You know, what are we not doing?
Well, I mean, you grew up in Newington, but I live in Newington, and I've been there for 30+ years, and they have capital built in their regular outfit. So they're not like Berlin, where Berlin doesn't support capital, they have capital money every single year that they decide, well, it's, and like a couple $1 million, I
I
think,
think it's
not,
a five,
not
5
chump,
mil.
not chump change, but, I mean, that's
Which
big
explains
thing.
why that their economic.
They're able to
activity hasn't
maintain their
slowed down.
infrastructure.
It makes a big difference, you know, and I mean, I think that's, Berlin is always behind the eight ball. There's no vision, there's no future.
I mean, we have a 10-year capital plan.
There
This
isn't.
at least is a vision.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
have it.
well, this is more vision. I mean, right now, especially, I can speak for you and I, as our kids are growing up, and we pay taxes for what, they're garbage. So I'm willing to pay a little more if I have a place to do so.
Well, and the project, the town hall and the community center, that took years to get approved. It didn't go, it didn't
Oh,
fly
yeah.
through the
No,
first
no,
time.
you're right,
It-
you're right.
That town hall's been in bad shape for, God, probably 20 years. And so it's a long haul process.
And
And
they're bigger than us.
they are big.
Newington's bigger.
Yeah.
But Mansfield's not bigger.
No.
How do they run it?
Well, I don't know if we want to really focus on Mansfield too much.
I-
Because
I'm
from
not
what I
focusing on-
gather, they're not in great financial shape. So they've talked about possibly closing that facility down.
Yeah.
Because it
I think-
becomes a big financial burden.
I mean, we went to Bloomfield,
There's
Bloomfield
fees.
is enormous.
There's also fees they can charge for services. I don't know what those fees would be or whatever, but there are fees that people using the center, they're using the pools or whatever, you know.
And we're not gonna solve it here, but one of the things I think we have to be, as a committee, is either we have to be more, what I would say, more in favor of this. We can't be out in the public being the naysayers or the Debbie Downers. You know, we either as a
Right.
committee have to be all in favor or not, because, I mean, Donna's not gonna waste her time to go
Right.
forward if we, and I'm picking, but if we're gonna say it's gonna cost us hundreds of $1,000s, and, you know, this, that, and other, it seems like every time we say something, negativity comes out of our mouth. We can't do that. If we're gonna do that, we might as well just say screw it.
No, I think it's just important. They were talking at that council meeting, they were talking about possibly doing a forum in May. And you had the same reaction as I did. What if somebody goes up there and asks what the operational costs are and there's no answer? I mean, so I think that is a part of the preparations before we get to all. that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
I'll make a motion.
I know, we haven't had a short meeting in a long time, so.
That's the reason why that's another thing that we should also bring up. Once you figure out the operational costs, probably will be your ballpark. What people then say is, well, how are we gonna afford that to be? Right. It'll bring up another issue, which Debbie brought up, because she goes into, talks about, having some capital built into a budget, that's something we should finally have one conversation about at the governmental level. It's not so freaking crazy to
Make a motion to adjourn. Anyone second that? Thank you.
Joe seconds it. All right, take a look.
Dana, did you get all that?
Everybody on the commission,
Don motion, Joe seconded. I don't know how to stop the recording.
Let us know.
Do you want to stop?